EVs just suck. I guess you have the same opinion as me because you clicked on this video and I will be arguing based on facts that these cars are shit. Okay, let's start with the most obvious part, that it is that these cars are so freaking ugly. I mean, just look at these things. How can you tell that they look good? There's so many people going crazy about, oh, they're so great, they are so bloody ugly. And especially for me, I am a car enthusiast, so I value the outside of a car very much. That's why I love Ferraris. But you can't tell me that the new Mercedes shitboxes or a Tesla looks good. There's no personality behind these things. I can't even compare the Teslas and say which one is which model. They just look the same. But to be fair, there are exceptions. For example, the Rimac Nivera, the Apollo Intensa, and maybe the Porsche Taycan. But they all cost so much money that nobody in the f***ing world can afford these things. Also, electric cars are so overhyped. You can't even buy the entry models because they are so overpriced. But then of course, in Europe they want to ban petrol engines by 2035. So every new car will be electric. How the f*** is that supposed to work? The resources that are needed to produce these batteries are so goddamn rare. We don't have much cobalt, lithium or graphite in our world. So why would we waste it on electric cars? If I remember correctly, a few years ago it was already like some media problem that we don't even have enough for phones, laptops, whatever, the normal little batteries. And then they want to put like 1,000 times bigger ones in every car? And there already are some scientists saying that we only have enough of them for like the next 10 to 20 years. These cars are not the future. But guess what? The car companies can make a lot of money by advertising these cars because everybody thinks they are so good, they're gonna save everybody. If I just don't change anything about my life, but I buy an EV, I will save the world. Those cars are just for marketing. And of course some extra taxes. But to be honest, I don't blame the car companies. Electric cars are a trend, so they of course are gonna join it. But that doesn't mean it gets any better. Another very important problem with these rare minerals is that they are mined in so terrible conditions. There are giant mines for lithium, there is slavery, and nobody looks at it. They just look at the cars and think they're gonna save the world. There are families with small children in these mines working every day for barely any money. They are also exposed to the very harmful mining environment and the poisonous minerals. They don't even have access to proper mining tools and nobody talks about it. All I see on the internet is ads for new electric cars, supporting the new electric cars that come out, and pretty much anyone on YouTube promoting these things, making you want to buy one. But everything has a backside, and especially these electric cars. And here are some more facts about the batteries. The production of these things is so goddamn CO2 intensive that only after driving a car for 8.5 years or about 128,000 kilometers, it's better for the environment than a gasoline car. The batteries in these cars last about 10 to 20 years, but of course it can be much lower, probably depending on how they were used and if they were damaged. The next problem with these batteries is of course the range of the cars. Most of the electric cars right now get about 120 to 500 kilometers of range. But for most of the vehicles that have a combustion engine, you are way upwards of 800. And oh, did I mention the loading times? They are like about an hour at these superchargers, then 2 to 6 on normal ones, and then 14 hours on your home ones. And there of course is the charging infrastructure in itself. A lot of these chargers don't even work. And even though it is impressive that they have built so many in the last few years, they can't compete with combustion engines at all. So whenever you are trying to drive like outside of your city, you need to plan all your route with these chargers. And like, where the hell is all that energy for these cars supposed to come from? Even using wind farms or solar panels for energy is not perfect for the environment. That is because you need a whole lot of concrete to build a giant tower with some metal blades on it, and most of the cheap solar panels contain some very dangerous chemicals in them, and their quality isn't great either. And with more electric cars, the demand for energy is going to rise, and therefore also the prices are going to rise. So you can't even afford to drive one of these cars again. So then pretty much the last actual argument is that these cars are a big fire hazard. These giant battery packs consist of a lot of little cells. And if one of them is damaged or hit in some way, there's a chemical reaction going on that makes the inside of it expand. And because of compression, it's going to explode. But because we have thousands of them right next to each other, there's going to be a fucking chain reaction that's gonna blow up the whole thing. Also, because of all that, when one of these things is on fire, it takes about 10 times more water than for a normal car, and therefore a lot of time. But it is also extremely dangerous for the firemen. Batteries burn at extremely high temperatures. In some cases, the fires have been so hot that they melted the asphalt underneath the cars. And there also just isn't enough education provided to these firemen how to stop these cars from burning. So in the end, I would like to give you my personal evaluation. I am just 16, so I'm not the perfect source for anything, but electric cars are not ready to be standardized yet. They are not terrible in every way, don't get me wrong. And in acceleration they are fast, even though you have like no energy left to go anywhere after that. And there's like constant developing with new battery technologies and new ideas. But I think they should figure it out first before they push it on everyone.